everybody thinks that marketing is their next step, and it's not. It's not necessarily, because a lot of people try to fix a profitability problem with revenue, which means they're trying to make more sales to cover up for the fact that their profits aren't in order.
Hey, this is Nick Armstrong, and you are watching the Founded Infoco Podcast. Every episode, we get a chance to talk to an innovative mover and shaker in our community doing cool and interesting things. And today, we have a repeat guest from last year. We're talking about brand new things, though. LeAndra, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. It's great to be back on here.
And what's new since the last time that we talked to you? You're still doing some amazing work in the realm of profitability and coaching fellow entrepreneurs. You've actually joined the Founded Infoco team as a track captain.
Yes, it's amazing how that happened. I don't remember volunteering for it, but somehow all of a sudden there I was.
Voluntold. You were voluntold into the position.
Absolutely.
What can we sort of expect from the freelance solopreneur track that you and Karen Joy Fritz are heading up?
How I got involved is really, I always just consider myself the megaphone. Like somebody says a really great idea into my ear and then they say it quietly. So then I just announce it louder of like, hey, here's this really great idea. And so I blame Karen. I blame Karen that I'm on the solopreneur track. But I do feel really passionately about it because Mike Michalowicz, if you are not familiar with him, he has written many books on entrepreneur, and he says he's on a path to end entrepreneurial poverty. And so he has had a book called Fix This Next, and I thought it was just really important. And we've kind of built the solopreneur track around that idea, but it actually pertains to all businesses. And some of his stuff actually pertains to larger businesses more than solopreneurs, but it's really based on the fact of, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our business also has a hierarchy of needs, and we have to make sure that every single one of them is covered from the bottom up, and that we continually circle around to make sure that we're there. And so we've designed the track with that idea.
And you have some experience in this realm with personal coaching that you do as well. Have you built in some of those insights that you've seen from fellow entrepreneurs and put those into the track?
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, he says very blatantly, if you don't have sales, if you don't have money, revenue coming into your business, you don't have a business. A very expensive hobby, but you don't have a business. And so we literally start from the ground up of helping you with, you have to tell people that you have a business. We call this marketing. And then once you let people know that you have a business, you have to ask them if they want to work with you or give them a way to pay you so that you actually have a business. And it builds up from there. And we build each level into the plan and the schedule for Founded Infoco.
So a lot of us describe it what a freelancer or solopreneur is, because I think that's distinct from the builder track that we've put together. We've maybe seen some of that in the past. What specifically can a business owner look forward to and how do they identify if they are right in this track?
Well, we've started the week off on Monday morning with a session called What's Your Next Step? Because first of all, conference burnout is a real thing. Let's be honest. There's so much information. I think we said today we have over 100 speakers or different sessions. If you try to go to all 100, which you can't because some of them are simultaneous, but if you try to, your brain would melt. That's the official term. Your brain would melt. So we kick it off on Monday morning with What's Your Next Step, where we'll go through the pyramid to help you identify the one thing that you need to be focusing on in your business so that you're not squirreling and going to all the different sessions that you could go to, but you focus on the one thing that you need to be focusing on in your business right now. Now, you started your question with the difference between the solopreneur and the builder track. The What's Your Next Step session does apply to both types of businesses, but specifically the solopreneur and freelancer track is for the person who works on their own. So I can't go and delegate my social media to my social media person because I am my social media person. And I can't delegate my sales to my sales team because I am my sales team. So the solopreneur track recognizes that you are the marketing team, the sales team, the social media team, the delivery team, the accounts receivable, the accounts payable, all the teams. And so it's really geared more towards that understanding of you're wearing all the hats.
You forgot janitor on that list because that's usually where I end up stuck. There's so many hats that we wear as freelancers and solopreneurs. Which of the sessions are you most excited for in terms of what's on the schedule, and what skills have you seen in your own practice that people could use the most that you prioritize during some of the track selection?
All of them. I actually have to go through the what's your next step myself and be like, okay, what is the one that I actually need to focus on? Because I'm just such an information hog that I'm like, I just want it all, give it to me all. So I have to, I might have actually created this session for myself, really. Last year I had to take a 3-hour nap by Friday. I was so tired.
Yeah, it's a brain break. And we hear that a lot from entrepreneurs that show up to Founded Infoco. And as you said, conference fatigue is real. And in this year in particular, we went from 3 days of lecture style programming to 5 days of lecture style programming plus 2 days of workshops. And it allows you this opportunity to really put into practice what you have learned. So after your nap, which a lot of us do take, we end up into a workshop where you're actually putting hands on to the things that you are learning. And I think that that's a real distinction that we've heard a request from our audience to say, I get all of this great knowledge, my brain melts, and I'm really happy with what I learned. But it sat in a notebook and it was dusty on my shelf by the time, 2 weeks rolled around and business as usual kicked in.
Yeah, I am so excited for the workshop portion of this because exactly like you said, even if I am focusing on the one thing, we brought in several different marketing type talks of different ways of marketing because there is no one way to market if you haven't noticed that. But even having all these ideas, it is really hard to put it in place. So I love that we're going to have these workshops where we can come in and get it done, and it's not, oh, something that we'll have to do, and when will I ever have the time? This is carved out on your calendar to do the exact thing that it is that you want to do, and you're going to do it with other people because, misery loves company if you're having to work on something that you don't like working on in your business.
That is absolutely true. And there's so many different ways of approaching tasks like marketing or like accounting or other things like that. While they're like generally confirmed principles of things like, yes, QuickBooks, FreshBooks, all that stuff. But how you do it and how you allocate your resources and your time and your mental energy into those things can vary drastically depending on who your teacher was. Talk to me a little bit about what it was like going from the speaker side of things to becoming a member of the team.
Oh gosh. I think my first thing was just how amazed I was at how all of this comes together. And even still, I sit there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how all this got done because I really didn't do anything. And I think that was the most amazing thing that I heard last year is that everybody said that they didn't really do anything. And I'm like, what? You did all of it. I just showed up and ate sandwiches. But I think the thing that really makes the team work is that each person only takes on what they're willing to take on. And they usually only take on the thing that is easiest for them. So it feels like they really didn't do anything. So, I'm like, I just sent an email to a few people and asked them if they wanted to speak on their topic because this is something that we were looking to fill. So if everybody does what they're good at and what comes easily to them, it somehow magically just like all comes together. And it seems overwhelming because I'm like, I could never do those things because those things are hard for me.
Entrepreneurs often get this rap of like, you are the most ecocentric people on the face of the earth. And I was like, without exception, on our team, literally the most humble, fellow human beings on the planet. Like, I didn't do anything. Like, no, look at the team. Like, look at the team. And that's true across the board. We have so many amazing team members on and doing cool things in their niche and their expertise that it makes the work so much easier for everybody, and the entire community benefits as a result. So it's truly a humbling thing to be involved in, and I'm glad that you have joined the team because your expertise is in the freelance solopreneur world, right there alongside Karen, and both different paradigms coming at it from two different ways and creating this really cool lineup on our schedule. So what's next in the world of freelancer solopreneurs? What are some trends that we should be looking at? Where do you see freelancers needing to go?
The next step is to come to Founded Infoco and come to what's your next step and find out what your next step is, so that you know the one thing you need to be working on and you can learn what you need to learn, and then you can go to the workshop and do the thing that you need to do, which is probably the thing that you least like doing, so you should do it with other people.
Yeah, and we've purposefully set it in play the ticket pricing this year. You can choose your own pricing. The recommended ticket price is $20, and it kind of helps with that idea of like knowledge burnout, because we as freelancers, we love to go to the workshop, download the thing, go to the webinar. I have gigs on my hard drive of resources, educational resources that I have not touched since my very honest and eager anticipatory, like, I'm putting in my email address, signing up, downloading. I'll watch that later. It never happens. So we're hoping that by putting a little bit of money investing in this event, it's $20 or so, you will have a little bit more intrinsic motivation to actually doing the thing, and to putting it into play. So don't be shy about signing up to things and picking a day, picking a track. What have you seen as like the key element that you want to, like, you must, if you are, besides the what's your next step panel, that you have seen that you want people to go to, or is there a workshop on there that you're really excited about, or anything else like that?
So it's actually really hard for me to answer that question, because it completely depends on what's your next step, right? Like, my next step is not going to be your next step. The one thing that I do want to point out is that everybody thinks that marketing is their next step, and it's not. It's not necessarily, because a lot of people try to fix a profitability problem with revenue, which means they're trying to make more sales to cover up for the fact that their profits aren't in order. When I first created this, what's your next step, I did it individually a few years ago, and I didn't question whether anybody would go to the sales person. I expected that there would be lots of people in there, and there was nobody in there. And Allison Profit was actually the person who was my expert for that. And she said, oh, this happens a lot. Most people think they have a marketing problem. They don't consider having the actual conversation or making the ask to receive money for the work that they're doing. So I can't answer it because there are so many good topics to go to, and it's just the one that you need to go to.
This is very true. And we also see this on the feedback from the submissions of the survey results, that, there were so many marketing talks. There was so many things to learn. And the marketing is oftentimes the thing that is like the most flexible, because it changes so often, because there are so many tools that are dedicated out there to, like, Instagram, TikTok, and all these other things that just sort of pop up throughout the years. AI now, that's what's going to completely change things. And what I perceive is like more of the static fields, the accounting, the structural, the logistics of your business, how to get things shipped back and forth. Those day-to-day things can cost you so much money, or cause you to sink, into productivity woes, and you can't get yourself out of those by tweeting more. It just does not work. So. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think that it's a very astute observation, and we've created this really well-rounded lineup. Everyone from, creating collaborations with Dr. Erica Mikowski, to Jamal Page talking about diversifying your revenue streams and how to do those things. And actually, Jamal, I think, is talking about storytelling as well. So there's a number of things that are on the schedule that you will hopefully find relevant to you and your place in your business.
And we were really.
Yeah,
If I
go
can
ahead.
add one more thing is I'm also talking about the 3 secrets to profitability. And sometimes the unsexiest topics have the sexiest outcomes. So, there's also, I think we have a bookkeeping session. So those things that are like, oh, I don't want to do them, they can actually have the better outcomes than going to the shiny, oh, what's the newest thing in this realm?
100%. And we've also differentiated this year 100, 200, and 300 levels so that you can make a better judgment. And these are really loose classifications, but they're for you to decide like, oh, I think I'm at a 200 level in this. You could show up and be a little bit wrong and just, shoot for the moon. That's just fine. It allows you to take those skills with you and be ready to use them when you have them and know what is out there for you. But it's a really easy distinction to say like, oh, I'm no longer in this 100 level marketing. You might need
Well,
a foundation refresh.
and a little nuance to that Candace Edelin, our builder track person, talked about is you could be like, in my case, maybe I'm like a 300 level profitability because that's my thing, but I could be 100 level in marketing because it's not my thing, right? So like, just because you've been in business for 5 years or 10 years, or because you have a team, doesn't mean that you don't have different levels within the different levels. Like you might be a level 300 at this thing and a level 100 at this thing, and that's okay. So just go to the session that is right for that level that you're at.
Are you in particular, are you just looking at the sessions that you're doing, or are you going to like build out your own schedule too?
Oh, I've totally built out my own schedule. And I have to say, like, it's the first week of March, which is my busy week. So I can't even go to all the sessions that I want to because turns out I have to work in my business also.
Yeah, we've seen that too with Made in Loveland, and there's going to be Grown in Greeley. So we're sort of sandwiched in between these two awesome fellow city localized conferences, and you could just spend the entirety of your first 6 months of 2024 going from conference to conference. It is not unheard of. So hopefully you will find something worth investing in yourself in this time that you come to Founded Infoco. There's so many opportunities to learn from your fellow entrepreneurs. And we have a number of different social events too that are going to be just absolutely amazing for networking in, from the Intersect Brewing launch party on Monday to the Motown Review on Wednesday, and all of these opportunities for networking with your fellow business owners.
It's gonna be so much fun. As a people person, I love that part.
The parties is where it's
That's
at.
right. It's all for the parties.
Yeah, skip over the marketing classes. Just go straight to the networking. That's the
It's
best part.
it's really how you guys got me on the organizing committee. Is somebody's like, it's just like a party. I was like, okay, count me in.
It really is. Um, do you have any words of advice for folks that are thinking about maybe joining the team, or thinking about coming in and organizing something, or have a passion project that they want to see occur either in tangent with Founded Infoco or beyond?
Well, I mean, the whole reason that there's even a solopreneur track is really because 2 years ago, Karen said to me, hey, they should have a solopreneur track for this. And voila, here it is. So if there's something that you see that we need and is being excluded and you would love to be a part of getting it going, that's how you get involved. Obviously, there are lots of volunteer opportunities. And one of my things that I have really come to realize is that people hate the word volunteer because it means like I'm going to get sucked into something and it's going to take me so much more time than I ever realized. And I'm going to have to do something I hate doing. It's not true. We have roles for everybody with as much time as you're willing to give or not give. We need some Geek Squad people to do tech support. We need some people for check-in and welcoming. So, introverts, extroverts, the people that are just like, nobody see me. I'm just going to sneak around here and put out some coffee and some snacks. Like there is a role for everybody and we need that support. So if you're going to be there anyhow and you don't mind giving some of your time while you're already there, we could totally use you.
Well, folks can find out more about Founded Infoco at foundedinfoco.com and check out the schedule at foundedinfoco.com/schedule. And you can also snag your tickets right there when you're on the site. LeAndra, where can we find out more about you and your business and all the great work that you're doing in the community as well?
For the most part, you can follow me either on Facebook or TikTok, and it's just LeAndra Y. Foster. If you want to sign up for my monthly email, I don't send much more than that, but monthly email, you can go to my website, leandrafoster.com, to sign up there.
Excellent. Well, thanks for being here with me today and talking about what your experience is as a track captain, sort of putting all the pieces together behind the scenes. And thank you for all your work on the team to make our event so awesome. It is truly a unique educational experience and one of the best in Fort Collins for small business owners and beyond. So we hope that you can join us March 4th through 8th at the Fort Collins Senior Center, and on our 2 workshop days that will be spread throughout the community at different various entities that support the small business community. It's a really good learning opportunity to find out what kind of resources are in our ecosystem, and we can't wait to see you there. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Nick Armstrong, and this is a Founded Infoco podcast. For more great interviews like this one, join us at foundedinfoco.com.